I'm mission specialist.
Sorry, what mission?
That's fine now!
More or less. More or less?
That's fine now!
No one's dumb enough to go where we're going.
That's fine now!
I suppose we could try and get it from the parent, but they're a flying carnivore the size of an F-16.
That's fine now!
Please don't say they're raptors.
That's fine now!
Jurassic World Rebirth looks absolutely terrible. This is just about the most negative video I will ever make, but stick with me because I am going somewhere with it. Simply put, Jurassic World Rebirth doesn't just look bad, it looks like a crime against cinema. It's ticking all the same boxes The Rise of Skywalker unfortunately ticked. Like The Rise of Skywalker, it's got a paper-thin video game fetch quest in place of a plot. Like The Rise of Skywalker, it thoughtlessly throws out established canon on a whim, because it's convenient, and actually writing a good story that fits into the existing world is too much like work. And like The Rise of Skywalker, there's this passionless, cynical feeling to the dialogue, like the lines were written specifically to be trailer bait.
None of what you just said is good.
And the actors are all too aware of it. But with all that in mind, I am still going to see this film on opening night. I'll get into why in a moment. Jurassic World was an interesting film that tried to give itself a pass for its blatant commercialization by poking fun at the concept every step of the way. I think of all the Jurassic films, it still manages to be one of the most fun. So while it's a wildly uneven film with some questionable choices, I still really like it for what it is. Fallen Kingdom, on the other hand, was painful to watch. It's one of the best looking films in the franchise, but the story, be it destroying the island, introducing the human cloning subplot, or having the dinosaurs let loose on the mainland, was a slap in the face, to put it mildly. I don't think it's a stretch to say that by Fallen Kingdom, the spirit of Jurassic Park, that intangible thing that made us fall in love with it in the first place, was long gone. And Dominion was just a total shit show. Like The Rise of Skywalker, it was a series of set pieces loosely stapled together and caked in a heavy layer of fan service and nostalgia baiting. To be fair, Fallen Kingdom had painted it into a corner, so I can appreciate that the filmmakers had their work cut out for them. But they absolutely shit the bed. All they needed was to make a story about humans and dinosaurs adapting to this new world they both found themselves in. That idea was ripe for exploration, and could have been a great commentary on the world we found ourselves in back then. Instead, we got locusts and Tim Cook. Rebirth is, in all likelihood, going to be the worst one so far. It looks like it'll be bigger than Fallen Kingdom, and not as big as Dominion, but without an established cast or narrative, it's got its work cut out for it. It also seems to be under the impression that bigger is better, which says so much about the mentality the filmmakers went into this project with. Namely, a total lack of understanding of what made the original so great. When all the systems in place to keep the guests safe failed, and the T-Rex broke loose of its enclosure, it was truly terrifying, because it was earned, because we, the characters and the audience, are told time and time again that this exact thing could never happen. Now, in Rebirth, the characters are putting themselves in harm's way, under the contrived and flimsy pretense of getting DNA samples for some miracle cure, which will probably turn out to be a lie, and they've been unwittingly helping some new biosyn-type corporation do even more evil shit. And not only that, but it's the three biggest dinosaurs, one for air, land, and sea, because video games. And if that wasn't enough, hybrids are back, and they're not even pretending to be dinosaurs anymore. You could show me this guy and say it's from the new Resident Evil movie, and I'd totally believe you. Rebirth isn't cashing in on old ideas for the sake of nostalgia, but because it has no good ideas of its own. It's bringing back the famous rafting scene from the original novel, because apparently the book hasn't been totally mined of ideas yet. It wouldn't surprise me if we get invisible carnotaurs, and a certain scene with a baby raptor as well. And it's possible the new big bad could have taken some cues from the scrapped human-dino hybrid idea that was kicked around for Jurassic Park 4. An idea that should have stayed scrapped. So why am I still seeing this movie on opening night? Because it's fucking dinosaurs, are you kidding me? I fucking love dinosaurs, and I love dinosaur movies, and I'll take them any which way I can get them. There may come a time when Jurassic World has exhausted all my goodwill, and I'll stop showing up for new entries, but I don't think that will be for a while. Let me tell you why. When I saw Fallen Kingdom in cinemas, I had just spent 2 weeks moving apartments while balls deep in the worst flu I have ever had in my life. For those who haven't experienced it, moving house sucks. Moving house with a head full of angry bees and a chest full of snot ranks pretty damn close to the worst experience of my life. I had been looking forward to Fallen Kingdom for about as long as it was possible to. So one night, when I finally had a moment to myself, I went to see it. I was so keen I went stag to the movies for the first time ever. If you haven't seen it, Fallen Kingdom licks balls. My disappointment, on top of my overall miserable mood, was crushing. But this would turn out to be a good thing, because when I went back to that same cinema 4 years later for Dominion, my expectations were about as low as they could be, and I had the best fucking time. Turns out, if you go into the Jurassic World movies expecting less Jurassic Park and more The Fast and the Furious with dinosaurs, you're gonna have a good time. Dominion is a garbage film, but it's a great popcorn film. We'll never get a film as tightly put together and perfectly paced as Jurassic Park again, and that's a shame. But I believe there's a place for dumb fun too, and if I can't have the former, I'll happily take the latter. So yeah, I'll be there opening night for Rebirth, ready to accept it for what it is and judge it on its own merits. I totally expect a garbage plot full of cardboard cutout characters delivering bad lines with absolutely no enthusiasm, shuffled from set piece to set piece that are more Michael Bay than Steven Spielberg. But when the lights go out, I'm gonna turn my brain off and let Rebirth do its thing. Because while I've given up on Jurassic World as a franchise, I still love me some dinosaurs.
They fly